from his studios in New York, it's time for Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. Here's your host, Dan Tortora.
The morning menu proudly brought to you by all of our great partners at Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You can check them all out by going to wakeupcalldt.com and see them on the homepage. Click on their logos and get all the information you need to get on them. Addresses, phone numbers, what they offer you, and how you can get in touch with them. Easy here in Central and Upstate New York. Easy and stress-free. And great people in the community. Speaking of great people in the community and companies that we're happy to work with, we have officially signed on a partnership to work with the Syracuse Stallions. They've signed on with us. We've signed on with them. And months ago, we started rolling the ball out with this thing, speaking with Dawan Coleman about it, speaking with Mike Sugamosto on the show about it, repeatedly having Jimmy Evans on the show as well. And we're very, very excited about the upcoming season. Believe it or not, folks, it is at the end of this month. The first home game is at the end of October, which is crazy to think of. Practice has already begun, and there's so many positive things coming up with this Syracuse Stallions inaugural season. Their home games are at Manlius Pebble Hill. The rivalries are going to right themselves because these games are upstate New York teams and Northeast teams. So this is going to be could be some instant classics on the court, and an instant way for you to connect with pro basketball that's here in Syracuse, New York for the first time in seemingly forever. So there's so much good coming from this. Mike knows I'm excited about it. I can't wait to get into this season. Can't wait to talk about it. So I'm not going to waste any time here. The first part of the morning menu will proudly feature Mike Sugamosto of the Stallions live on the line. Mike, how are we doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. And Mike, first and foremost for me, just what you can say about getting to practice and, getting this team set and ready to go for the season now that it's officially official, so to speak, just what that's been like for you.
It's been a long wait, but just to get the guys hitting the floor Monday night was a great feeling. It means we're itching and getting close. Bringing all these guys together from all different backgrounds and different talent levels, different experiences, and seeing it all work the way it did was honestly very shocking. These guys look like they've been playing together for a long time. I was a little nervous about chemistry just because of levels of play, and from the tryout, it was hard to really judge their decision-making because guys were there to prove themselves. But to see it all work gets me very, very excited, even more excited than I was.
So when you see it, practice has officially begun. You've officially opened the doors here in October in preparation for the season. So what were some of those takeaways? We're going to get into some of the things that you had sent over to me and definitely discuss this, but just what you can say about, what you've seen so far, kind of the big picture of these guys coming together, like you said, the chemistry being better than maybe you thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I knew we had a great team. Looking at our roster on paper, we're deep from 1 through 11 guys. Even our reserves could be on this team starting. They could be on any team. There's a ton of depth. But what had stood out most to me was our defensive effort. It's the first practice. Anyone who's coached college or professionally knows that the energy is there. Everyone's just excited to be there. But I have faith in this team that they're going to carry it on and keep that consistent effort and keep that consistent energy. But defensively, we were making things hard for our offense to score, and it's not that we have bad scorers or bad playmakers. It was just tough to get a bucket off. The speed is much faster. Everything is quicker. So my main takeaway was defense was super strong, and we're definitely going to cause some problems for some teams. So that's our main thing right now is defense.
And when you say that, obviously defensively you want to be strong in that respect. Like you said, you brought in players from all different walks of life, different places, from Syracuse, Rochester, Albany, New York City, and whatnot. To have all these teams come together and play in your defensive scheme, you wrote a note to me that you are a strong defensive team. Rarely did anyone get by the on-ball defender with the dribble. If that happened, the guards were in with the trees, who did an excellent job protecting the basket. Guys seem to be in excellent shape. Just what you can say to go a little bit deeper into bringing these players from different places to be on this team and to establish that defense, because in the world of basketball, collegiately we see it, but when it comes to pro basketball, and you're playing pro basketball with this, there's typically I'm going to outscore you. No, I'm going to outscore you. So bring me into the importance of the defense and just a little bit more about that.
Well, the thing with our team is everybody comes from different playing styles, different defensive schemes and things like that. One of our assistant coaches, Tim Marshall, is heading up our defensive schemes and our, rotations and things like that. And I've seen a lot of ABA basketball I've watched, and not a lot of teams play defense. So the teams that play defense, it leads to so much more in the offensive end. And especially in the ABA, good defensive teams have a tendency to score, because there's a rule in the ABA that if there's a turnover in the backcourt, in a certain amount of time that's left on the clock, a red light goes off that increases your score by 1 point. So you make a layup, it's now worth 3 points. If you make a three-pointer, it's now worth 4. So we're trying to use that to our advantage. I mean, we have great shot blockers that can get it out in transition after they block a shot, and we can get a bucket right away. We have excellent on-ball defenders that really will make lead point guards or off-the-ball guards kind of panic and struggle, I guess. Just to see it all, I knew we had a great roster. I knew what these guys had, but putting it all together, defensively, we're going to be a problem.
That coming from Mike Sugamosto of the Syracuse Stallions. You had made also some notes here with me. You said you were impressed with Cornelius Vines, Mickey Davis, Cameron Dobbs, and Charles B. Coates. Everyone was great. Everyone was great. Both those, of those, everybody that stood out that you were talking about made great plays, knocked down shots when open. So just what you could say about, your mentioning of these guys specifically, Vines, Davis, Dobbs, and B. Coates, why that was, in your report to me, so to speak, about practice so far.
Yeah, Cornelius has a strong past professional experience, so he brings a ton of leadership to us. He's a great scorer, but I saw him kind of step out of his comfort zone of just scoring, and he was making plays left and right for guys in transition, making the extra pass. And then when it comes to knocking down open shots, I can count on him. If you give him the ball and defense is nowhere in sight, probably 8 out of 10 times it's going in. Mickey Davis, I got to say, he's probably the best shooter in Syracuse right now. If there was a 4-point line, we'd be getting 4 points on those shots. I confidently can count on him to catch the ball in transition if he's trailing the play, catch a ball from point guard, pull up 3, and we're going to have 3 points. Charles B. Coates is from Rochester. He played ABA for the Rock City Ravens, and he just brings us another level of leadership. He is a Division II player from Mansfield University. He plays both ends of the ball. Defensively, he's one of our strongest on-ball defenders, and it turns into so much for him in transition on offense. There were several times in practice, and this guy just got off strep. He had strep throat. He's like, Mike, I don't know how much I can go, and he crushed it. In transition, he was tapping the ball out in front and making layups, and it really motivated guys to step up their level of defense. So these guys are pushing each other. And then who was the last one? What was the fourth one? I can't remember. Cameron Dobbs.
Yep.
Dobbs, yeah. Cameron actually is a reserve of ours. So he played at Mississippi Valley State and then transferred to AIC, which is a Division II school. Cam wanted to try out for us, never ended up showing up because of transportation. He's from Albany. So this is the first time I've seen this guy play, and he should be on this team. Any team could use this guy. He's left-handed. He's 6 foot. He can shoot. He makes plays. I was impressed with him mostly because I honestly haven't seen him before, and he walked right into this gym with a bunch of guys that he knows and doesn't know, and he fit right in. So thinking about in the long run, if things happen and I need to move in another guy, it'll be Dobbs.
Speaking here with Mike Sugamosto of the Syracuse Stallions, just what you can say, like you said, about building that depth that some of these reserve guys, have the opportunity to move up for you, and that you have talent outside of the guys that you currently have on the roster. Just what you could say about, overall how hard it was to put that roster together, and that you do have some people waiting in the wings like Dobbs if need be.
Yeah, it was a challenge. Trying to find the right balance. Our main thing, I mean, going from talking to our coaches, we want to have shooters on the floor at all times. And looking at some lineups that we can play, we can have 4 shooters on the floor at sometimes, even 5, which really gives us a chance to space the floor and kind of give fans what they want to see. Who doesn't want to see threes? Who doesn't want to see dunks? I mean, if you don't want to see that stuff, I don't know what you're there for, because that's what you're going to get with ABA basketball. We don't have much height, I will say that, but the athleticism really makes you feel like a big player. We have Jamel Stanley, who played at SUNY Old Westbury, was a 2-time All-American, and the guy can jump out the gym. He's probably 6'3", 6'4", and with a 40-inch vertical. So he's a high flyer. He's built like a machine. So in putting it all together, I'm happy to say that we have everybody that we want. And we could contract everybody we wanted, and we made it all work. So it makes things even more exciting to see that going into it, we have the guys that everyone that we contracted, we got.
And you also, one of those guys that you wanted, Dajuan Coleman, you told me that he looks healthy, participated in full practice, didn't seem winded or held back by any injury. You could tell that he took the time to develop a jump shot to be able to stretch the floor if given space by a defender. Just what you could say about Dajuan so far.
Everyone's first question is, what kind of shape is he in? How are his knees? And he's taken the time. He's been working with Stan Kissel, the former strength and conditioning coach from Syracuse University, and he's put in the time. He's got to be 250 pounds and just lean. He's taken a lot of pressure off his knees by losing that weight. He's in excellent shape, getting up and down the floor. There was not a time where he ran free throw line to free throw line. He was block to block, full sprint. And we've got some fast guys, and he was keeping up with them. So I hope people can invest and kind of trust what we're saying, that he's in shape, but he's going to prove it. And he had some great face-up pull-ups and stuff like that with the defender giving him space. His shot looks phenomenal, honestly. So I'm really excited for him to prove himself and show his worth.
And when we see this, like you said, putting this team together and having all these pieces and having a guy like Dajuan on the team and whatnot, to speak on the coaching staff and just to let people know who don't know, who this coaching staff is, and just to bring people, into some knowledge about who these guys are that are going to be training these gentlemen for this upcoming professional season.
Yeah, so our head coach is Pete Dortis. Pete's a Janesville, DeWitt guy. His son played at JD and then went on to walk on at Syracuse. Pete's coached at OCC, and then he's also played at OCC. He then went on to play in Greece. So he's got that professional feel. He knows what it takes as a player, and now he's translating that as a coach. Our assistant coach is Tim Marshall. Tim played at Mexico High School, then went on to Oswego State. Had an exceptional career at Oswego State, and then jumped on staff there. And then after Oswego State, he coached basketball at Beeville. So he's got 30 years under his belt of just experience. He's a defensive guru. He works with our bigs. So both of those two are a great mix. And then our third assistant is Vondell Brantley from Syracuse. He played at Wells College. He scored over 1,000 points. So he's going to be working with our guards here and there. He's a big body guard, so he's left-handed, so if we ever have to work on posting up a guard, he's going to jump right in there with the guys. So the staff is well-experienced and a great wealth of knowledge, and they're respected. I didn't want a coach to come in that was going to be walked over or talked over, spoken over, but Pete has demanded respect right away, and it's been given.
That coming from Mike Sugamosto, Syracuse Stallions. I don't know a better way to end our conversation today than say, he asked for respect, and respect is given as they look for respect here as they grow in the ABA and look for their opportunities in their inaugural season to make a path for themselves toward greatness. I know we're going to be talking a lot, Mike. There's a lot of stuff coming up, so it is with a great pride and appreciation that I say welcome to the Wake Up Call family, and let's get it done.
Thank you.
So I look forward to talking with you soon, and I'll see you out of practice very soon as well.
All righty, sounds good.
All right, take care.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks.